Today, we're diving into a massive story, the story of 1/6 of all humanity. This isn't just about spreadsheets and data points. It's about the incredible human engine that is India's population, a force that's reshaping our world as we speak. So let's kick things off with a pretty deep question. Can you even imagine a world without people? It's a simple idea, but it really gets to the core of why studying population matters so much in the first place. Because think about it, without us, what does anything really mean? A lump of coal is just a black rock until we call it a resource. A giant wave is just a natural event until it hits a town and becomes a disaster. It's us people who give the world context and meaning. Okay, with that in mind, let's try to get a handle on the sheer scale of the numbers we're dealing with when we talk about India. Brace yourselves. The last official count, back in 2011, clocked India's population at a staggering 1.21 billion. Yeah, that number is over a decade old now, but it's our foundational number for understanding the incredible scale of the country. So what does that 1.21 billion actually mean? Well, it means that 17.5% of every single person on this planet lives in India. Let that sink in. That's almost 1 in 5 people on Earth. Now here's the kicker. All those people, they're living on just 2.4% of the world's total land area. A tiny, tiny fraction of the globe is home to this massive chunk of humanity. This chart just lays it out so clearly, doesn't it? You see the huge slice for population right next to that sliver of land. This imbalance is absolutely central to understanding the pressures on resources and just life in modern India. But here's the thing. Those 1.2 billion people are not spread out like butter on toast. Not at all. The way they're distributed is incredibly uneven, which brings us to our next big question. Right, so where is everybody? How does a country pack that many people within its borders? Where are the hotspots and where are the empty spaces? This map tells the story visually. The darker the color, the more people are crammed into each square kilometer. You can immediately see those deep, dark reds in the northern plains and down along the coasts. And then you see these much lighter patches, especially in the northeast and the interior. And to put some real numbers to those colors, check this out. In the northern state of Bihar, you have over 1,100 people, on average, in a single square kilometer. Now compare that to Arunachal Pradesh up in the northeast, just 17. 17. It's the difference between being in a packed stadium and having an entire park to yourself. And why is it like this? Well, it mostly comes down to good old-fashioned geography. People naturally gather where it's easier to live and farm, the flat, fertile plains with lots of rain. The empty spots? They tend to be rugged, mountainous, with tough climates. Makes sense, right? Okay, so we've got the scale and we've got the spread. But how on earth did India get so populous in the first place? Let's jump into the story of its incredible growth. Just look at these numbers over only 60 years. In 1951, you're at 361 million. 30 years later, it's practically doubled. 30 years after that, it's almost doubled again. The sheer velocity of that growth is one of the biggest demographic stories of the last century, period. Now, this table shows something fascinating. It's a bit of a paradox. If you look at the growth rate, the percentage, you'll see it's actually going down, which sounds good, right? But then look at the next column, the absolute number of people added. It stayed enormous. How? Because even a smaller percentage of a gigantic number is still a gigantic number. So what's behind all this change? It really boils down to 3 simple things. Births, how many people are being born. Deaths, how many people are dying. And migration, people moving around. That's it. Those 3 factors are the engine that drives every population change on the planet. So let's zoom in a bit from the big numbers and talk about the human factor. We're going to look at a nation that's constantly on the move in a future that's being defined by its young people. One of the biggest human stories in India is the massive wave of people moving from villages to cities. It's really a story of push and pull. People get pushed out of rural areas by things like poverty and lack of work. And at the same time, they're pulled into cities by the promise of jobs and, well, a better life. This constant flow is reshaping the country from the ground up. Now, while migration is shaping the present, you want to know what's going to define India's future? It's this number. A full 1/5 of the entire population is made up of adolescents between the ages of 10 and 19. And this is so much more than just a statistic. This huge group of young people is everything. They are the nation's single most important resource. Their education, their health, their opportunities, that's what will decide India's path in the 21st century. And the government knows this. Policies like the National Population Policy from the year 2000 have been all about investing in these young people. Things like free schooling, better healthcare, making sure kids get immunized. It's all part of a plan to empower this generation. Which brings us right to our final and most important question. You have hundreds of millions of young people about to enter adulthood. Their energy, their ambitions, their ideas, they're not just going to reshape India. They're going to reshape the entire world. And exactly how they do that, well, that's the great unfolding story of our time.